Well, nice to meet you. I'm very interested to hear about your story. And as coaches, it's just so much fun to meet and hear about all these other experiences. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What would you like us to know?
Okay. Yeah, very nice to meet every one of you, including you, Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hello,
Yeah, so
nice to meet you.
yeah. So I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Ahmed Mustapha. In my junior years, my earlier years, I usually represent my high school in mathematics competitions. So I was usually regarded as a maths genius, if I may use the word. I enrolled into systems engineering at the University of Lagos in Nigeria. In my very first year, I was voted as the class governor for the Faculty of Engineering. This is a faculty that had 9 engineering disciplines, engineering departments. So there, my mission was to get the students to have high grades and, ensure informations are well circulated among the students and create bonding social events within the students. While I was an undergrad in systems engineering, I participated in different leadership positions. First was the general secretary of my engineering association. Then later became the vice president. In my final year, I decided not to participate in the association, but because I already had several other activities I was enrolled in. Still during those period, I was a Google Student Ambassador. This gave me the opportunity to act as the representative of the school with Google and also act as Google representative on campus. There I ended up, setting up several training events for tech, getting information around Google competitions, map-up events, which involves getting students to put several locations on campus onto Google Maps. And that led me to a position of interning with Google in Lagos office as a business intern. During that period, I was able to get parts of Lagos and some businesses onto Google Maps using Google Places, and also acted as an onboarding personnel for Google partners. These are companies that would act as partners with Google to get companies onto the Gmail platform. So these are companies that would migrate, emails for different offices onto the platform. Right after school, due to my need to learn more about the financial sector and the tech sector, I joined a fintech company in Lagos called AppZone as a project manager. There I oversee different projects across ATM monitoring apps, card issuance applications, instant issuance applications within that sector. After several months, I felt the need there was a huge demand of software engineers within the company. So I felt because of my background and my technical abilities, I decided to switch roles into a software engineering role as a system integrator, which I ended up being for the past 5.5 years. Worked as a software engineer to system integrator, building components onto software applications for different banks on different projects. And now I'm an MBA candidate at William & Mary. Just last week, I also got selected as a Prodigy Finance Ambassador, whereby I can engage students, to give them the opportunity of coming to the US or any country of their choice to pursue higher degree with funding removed as a barrier. So I'm simply someone that wants to make meaningful contribution. Thank you.
I guess, does anybody else have any other questions before we move on that?
Yeah, Ahmed, sorry, can you just take that last point and just expand a little bit more on what the appointment as a project finance ambassador actually means? What do you need to do and what do you get as a consequence of doing it?
Okay, so Prodigy Finance is actually a firm that issues students loans for different candidates. So as a student ambassador, I can act as someone who can give more information about the opportunity of getting student loans, and also act as a person that can guide potential students on how to apply to universities, for different programs of their choice, and also let them be more aware about the opportunities that project finance grants to students. So it's more like an enlightenment role potential students to let them know that funding is not a barrier, because I am currently a project finance candidate, because though I have part of it as scholarship from William & Mary, but major part of it is also on a student loan from the organization. So I applied also to be an ambassador to that organization so that I can also get more students to know about this program, so they can also come into any university of their choice, such as William & Mary or student loan. That's basically what.
Thank you.
What brought you to William and Mary?
Basically, so there was the MBA tour that occurred in Lagos last year, and I got to meet Amanda Bat. So Amanda was actually she was the brilliant person to meet. So the first time I saw her, she was like she was the lead of several other university representatives during a session, and I got to meet with her, speak with her to get more info about the school. So one thing that really drove me to William & Mary is the fact that they have the executive partners. This executive partners is actually what drove me as the major reason to select it, because I reviewed, there were several MBA institutions that were around during the MBA tour, and the distinguishing factor to me was I actually wanted to have the opportunity to see more, mentor-like relationship with different professionals, and William & Mary seems to be the institution that could give me the opportunity. Aside just learning from professors and learning from your colleagues, I also just wanted to have more like a coaching experience, more like a mentor in prodigy experience. And I saw that in William & Mary. And also the fact that it's the second oldest institution in the US just made it like a mind-blowing opportunity. So when I actually got to even research the different presidents, the past presidents have been to William & Mary, I was just super excited to know that, okay, I'm actually being like the same seats where someone like, Thomas Jefferson was during the period. And also I came on campus last year, November, to do a campus tour, and also got to meet a few of the professors. I actually started in class just to even experience what it would be like when I joined the program. So the different factors just ensure that, okay, William & Mary is actually the best institution for me. And I could connect with so there's like a family bond at William & Mary, which I really enjoy, which I didn't really see in other institutions because of the small number of size. So I really enjoyed that fact that, okay, I could actually be in a cohort that is more like a family, more like a, bond, like the group tribe statements is just very exciting to me. And that's actually why I chose William & Mary.
We have a list sort of question. Tell me about a time when you really had an exceptional result or some event you'd really like us to know about.
Okay, so there was a particular project I went through when I was a software engineer at Abzone as a fintech company. So this project was peculiar in different aspects. One is this was the first project I'll be handling where the people I would be engaging as a client were speaking a different language. They were speaking French. I'm used to just speaking English, and that just brought in a bit of complexities on how you would, deliver a project to a client where their major language is different from what you've always been used to. So usually software projects that we deliver, it's usually tough to even gather out all the requirements, even when you're speaking the same language. But now that there's now the increased barrier of a different language, so we needed to have like an interpreter to, ensure that we could get the accurate requirements for that particular project, which made it very, very exciting. So the project entails, delivering an instant issuance app to the client, to the bank. That instant issuance app is an app that actually allows the bank issue ATM cards to their customers instantly. So a customer walks into the bank and instantly gets an ATM card in like 5 minutes, rather than coming in to just make a request to come back another day. So that solution entails that we integrate to some of their systems. And for that particular project, the system we're going to integrate to, this was the first time I integrated into it because it was in a different country and it was a new system. So it brought out a lot of learning opportunity for me. And the fact that even some of the specifications that we provided were in French, so I had to even get them to, sort of translate some of those parameters. And it was given in the timeline given was pretty strict, which was usually shorter than the regular timelines we have. With the added complexity, just made the project very tough. I was able to achieve completion within the timeline. And after that completion, after deploying that app, the app stood as one of the apps with the lowest amount of fixes after deployment, which, so most of the apps that we deploy, maybe after maybe a few weeks of usage or several months, the client usually calls the company to come fix a bug or complain about many issues. But this particular app that I delivered was one of those apps that we didn't really have any need to make upgrades after deployment. So that was just an exceptional app that I just felt it's one that I need to note.
When I know you all did the assessments, was there anything on the assessments that surprised you?
So basically, most of it were in line with part of what I realized as my traits. Though sometimes I usually think I'm an introvert, but the assessment sort of showed that I'm an extrovert because many times when I'm maybe doing stuff like, because I enjoy learning programming and enjoy most of the geeky activities. So I'm usually geeks sort of regarded as introverts, though I'm also known to be very public speaking, very open. I never really saw that extrovert aspect clear to me. But when I saw it in the results of the analysis, I now knew that, okay, so I've previously been regarded as myself more as an introvert because I'm always at home, maybe just in front of the computer most of the time. But now that I saw that, okay, I'm an introvert by analysis, so it means that actually I'm someone that can really get along with just more of the extrovert activities. So that part was more like an enlightenment, even though I knew it intuitively, but it wasn't really clear to me. But when I saw it, I just had to know that, okay, so I have this extrovert aspect of my traits. So that's one.
Do any of you have any other comments or questions you'd like to ask while we're here at this point?
Yeah, if I could, just one more. Just going back to the ATM project, if we could, Ahmed. You described that it was a learning opportunity. You described the success of the project. Why do you think it was such a success? What was it that you brought to that project that's enabled you to realize these goals of minimal fixes, not needing an upgrade, being relevant immediately to the users? What was important in delivering that?
So like I mentioned, one of it is actually the timeline. So there are several factors I usually consider as what makes the project very successful. One is actually being able to meet the client's requirements. So we are able to, so the issues we usually have with projects is once we do the requirement gathering and we go into the development phase and to the point of delivering the project, the client usually comes with several changes saying that, oh, this app doesn't look the way we actually want it to be, or doesn't behave the way I actually want. So it takes us back into development because we didn't really gather the proper requirements at the initiation phase. So that usually, takes the project much longer to execute. But because doing this for this particular project, we're able to gather as much detail of the requirements of that particular app, and we're able to execute straight on each of those requirements, that we didn't really need to make much changes. So that didn't elongate the project, unlike the other regular projects we've had in the past. And also, like I mentioned, the fact that after deploying an app and users start using it, from just the experience of other projects, we usually experience that once the deployments have occurred and users start using it, there are usually many complaints that would take time to, ensure the app is now stable. But for this particular project, there were little to no complaints after they started using it. So it meant we were able to actually tackle many of the software issues that could have occurred during the usage period. So issues such as maybe when a user uploads a file, it might not upload properly, or maybe when they try to perform this the debiting entries or the accounting entries wasn't correct. Maybe they will need us to maybe fix it, or some other glitches such as sometimes the user can't log in. We didn't really have any of those complaints for this particular project, and it's been a project that's actually been running for years now, which meant that it's very stable and little to no complaints over the years. Just means it's one of the best projects that the company has executed.
Okay, thank you.
Who's had the most influence on your path that you've taken over time?
Yeah. Okay. So my past supervisor, I would consider as one of my the person has really had a great influence on me, because when I joined the firm, I saw him as someone to learn from. He was very proactive. I was able to learn a lot about proactivity from him, because I think at the time when I joined the firm, I was more of a reactive person. So it's only when an issue occurs or when I was told to do something, that's when I'll go ahead to do it. But it taught me about being proactive, about trying to see things before they occur and take the initiative to actually act on them. Also, he's someone that also got me to learn more about hard work as a particular skill set, because he's he comes into the office almost before any other person, and he leaves almost after every other person. So it shows me the need to actually put in the effort in what I do to deliver excellent results. So I'll consider my past supervisor as one person that I think has been an influential person to me.
At this point, for what you've done, where do you want to go from here? What is the MBA going to do, and what path do you think you might want to follow after this?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I'm someone that actually wants to make meaningful contribution to the world. So I see businesses as an opportunity where I could actually make a lot of impact in this world. So in the long run, I plan on being a serial entrepreneur where I could own and run several businesses. But in the short time, I'm seeing the opportunity of going through consulting and product management. Consulting and product management, because I feel I have the analytical skill set to actually act as a more like a data analytics consultant. And because of my technology background, I also have like the technology background to go into product or program management in a tech firm. I'm tilting towards the tech role for now, because I know it will give me the opportunity, because I'm an international student coming to the US. I would like to actually spend some time in the US to work. And so the first role I'm trying to look at is the opportunity of, making use of the STEM opportunity that gives me 3 years of work permit before going back to the country, working as a STEM designated role. So I'll be looking into product management within the tech sector, so I could at least stay in the US for at least 3 years before requiring maybe sponsorship or extra work permits, or going back to the country, and also looking out for other opportunities around that. So basically, my short-term goal is product tech consulting role. Then long-term goal is more into serial entrepreneurship, because I actually feel businesses are actually ways I can make more impact. So I would love to be able to build and run several businesses in the long term.
When you talk about the distance, even though we're now mostly doing Zoom and that, how has it been to work in such a distance with a team and finishing and working on projects?
Okay, so it's been very, very, very interesting. So because I was in the software engineering role, the shift wasn't really drastic because I'm always in front of the computer. What I really notice is just most of the time when we usually have meeting sessions or requirement gathering sessions where we're supposed to be in a room to have, sit down and have face-to-face interaction is now being switched with Zoom technology or Skype or Teams or Microsoft Teams as the one we usually use. So that's been the major change. But in terms of delivering the actual results, because my role before now has always been software engineering, is still the same. And I even realized that the company actually even said we improved in productivity when we actually started working from home, because there was no, so in Lagos, there's usually there's a lot of traffic. So people usually spend a lot of time transiting from home to the office. But now that we are now working from home, most of that traffic time has been removed. And now we work late into the night. So usually we just work maybe till like 5, 6 p.m. and just start going on. But now because everybody is now at home, even maybe by 10 p.m., someone can still buzz you and just ask you for something, and you can actually get to deliver it in the night, unlike before. So that's now the new. So in terms of the role where what I'm just doing is mostly on the computer, I think I'm still able to deliver most of the results as before COVID. So it's just the interactions now is not as engaging as before when it comes to communicating, because before you would have different people that you can interact with on different bases. So what I really miss is the fact that maybe in the office you could have colleagues of yours that you might just have different type of conversations with that you can't really replicate with a technology like Zoom, because you might not so some conversations won't be planned. So you might just meet someone maybe by the staircase and just start a conversation that would engage you or get to know more about people. But here on Zoom, you actually need to plan that you want to meet someone. So you can't just bump into someone and just start a conversation. That's one of the elements I missed with regards to physical. And you can't really get a sense of, just see whether someone is busy at a time and just jump in to meet the person. Yeah, now you have to sort of schedule if you want to have a real meeting, or just use chats most of the time. So just send messages most of the time. You can't just have a face-to-face conversation. So I think those are the dynamics of the COVID situation I've seen.
Would someone like coaches like to give, because looking at our time, to get back onto feedback?
I'd like to ask him one question before we get to that point. Just out of curiosity, given the time difference, how has that impacted your time management skills? Or has it caused you to develop them pretty quickly, maybe?
Okay, so it's interesting. Like my laptop currently says 12:23 p.m. So now I've actually set my system is actually working with the US time. So if I had to check maybe the current local time, I have to maybe pick up my phone and I'll see that, it's like 5 p.m. in the night or in the evening. But basically it's been very exciting because I get to, so I wake up using the normal local time, maybe 8 a.m.-ish, but I get to sleep using your time, like 12 p.m. So which is like 5 a.m. my own time. So I get to stay late into the morning. It's pretty interesting because during that period, I'm actually even more relaxed to study because everywhere is calm. Everywhere is very quiet. It's like very early in the morning here. So it's been an interesting shift in time, but I think I've actually been enjoying it so far because even by the time when it's 8 o'clock in the morning for classes, it's like 1 p.m. my time. And 1 p.m. my time, everyone is really active. So I already feel very active in the afternoon already. But the cool thing is I get to stay up till very late. So like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. my own time. And even at that time when I try to study, it's easier for me to even study because everywhere is just calm, quiet, and it's actually a very interesting mix. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we do feedback since
Yeah,
we've got 5 minutes? Okay. Ahmed, delighted to see you again.
Same here.
You have a number of achievements which come across. Just a few general comments. You personally, you come across as being very personable, quite frankly. You're very easy to relate to. You've got a natural manner. You smile. You talk. You articulate well. One thing I would just mention is the link. Your pace of delivery is actually fine in person. Just be aware the technology itself is not giving us quite the instantaneous feed that you are experiencing, okay? So if anything, I'd encourage you just to slow down a bit. If it was person to person, it wouldn't be a problem. But I don't know about the others, I was getting this slightly tinny sound on some of the things you said, which meant I had to concentrate very hard to understand what you were saying, all right? I'm absolutely confident if I was across a desk from you, it would not be a problem. So to just be aware of the technology issue. Your articulation of the work that you've done is really good. Again, I'd go back and listen to the tape. The one thing is you've clearly done a number of things. You personally have contributed to things. What you tend to focus on, and it's really great, is what's the problem I've solved and what was the result? Some of the questions are targeted to how did you do it? What did you personally do? And I think about some of those because you clearly have used behaviors and approaches which are really relevant to problem solving. And you're so excited about telling us the problem that you've solved. Sometimes what you have done and put into that doesn't get as much attention, all right? So it's really a focus between the yin and the yang of it. And the other one, just in terms of thinking about it, that answer at the end was really good about what is the issue of being on a Zoom conference and working with a team when you are truly remote. It's an experience you've got that nobody else has got. Your answer was great. It is worth thinking about whether you give emphasis to that because it's something people will be really interested in. All right.
That was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it was really on the money, but it came out as a consequence of a question. It's something you might want to think about building in as part of your story. But good job. I think you've got a few refinements, but it really is refinements to what you're delivering.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any other further feedback?
No, I thought it was a good job. You come across very polished, and like Eddie said, just the speed maybe. Think about that. That was a good counsel for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, and especially as you said, it said you got to the end, and you could see a connection between us listening and talking with you and relating. And I thought that was really a good aspect of this that made me say, oh, I really like to get to know more about his experiences.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right, Ahmed.
Congratulations, Ahmed, on basically staying through. That comes across. Your determination to stay with things really comes across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially the challenges you're going through.
This is not the easiest environment for you, so well done.
Yes.
Yes.
Second that.
And now whatever you do at 5:30 in Nigeria, you can do, and we will go to lunch.
All right.
Well,
Ahmed, thank you very much.
Meet you.
Yeah,
Hey,
thanks a
guys.
lot, Dave.
Thank you.
Talk to you during the week.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. All
That
right.
was good.
Okay, thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate your help and input. It was really went very well, I thought. Good sessions, all of them. Bye.
Yeah, cool.
Bye.
All right, bye.